Okay, it being 7 o'clock, I will call our meeting to order by first standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Follow that with a moment of silence. Okay, and I will turn it over to the vice chair for the announcements.
The meeting is being recorded by the recording clerk for the purpose of taking minutes. Is there anyone else present who wishes to record the meeting? Seeing none. To attendees of the meeting, a sign-in sheet is being circulated. The board asks that you please sign in to indicate your attendance at today's meeting. The select board meetings can be viewed by going into the cable videos icon on the home page of the town's website. And our next select board meeting on Monday, July 21st, the board will hold a meeting at 7 p.m. The next board work session will be held on Wednesday, July 16th at 6 p.m. Please check the meeting postings on the town website for information to either join via Zoom or for the location of that particular meeting or work session. Trash. 4th of July is a recognized holiday by G. Mello. Trash pickup will be delayed by 1 day for those who normally have pickup on Friday. Those who have regularly scheduled pickup on Wednesday or Thursday will not be affected. For recycling, this is week A. And new tax bills with updated rates will be sent starting July 1st.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience about anything not related to the agenda items? Everybody's chomping at the bit, but no, there are none. With that, we turn to the approval of a plethora of minutes. Anybody want to make a motion?
Oh, I was waiting for the vice chair to do so.
Sorry, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Why do I not have them? Oh, there they are. All right, I make a motion to vote to approve the minutes of select board meetings held on, here we go, January 22nd, 2025, January 29th, 2025, February 5th, 2025, February 10th, 2025, March 3rd, 2025, March 12th, 2025, March 17th, 2025, March 26th, 2025, March 31st, 2025, May 7th, 2025, and June 2nd, 2025.
I second that.
Okay.
I'll make a comment. Looking at those lists of minutes, it looks like we don't ever do anything here, but
That last vice chair was a slacker, huh?
That's a huge list.
Well, if there's any that we want to discuss, I would say we can pull them out and take them separately.
No.
Otherwise, we've already had a motion and a second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it passes. Any abstentions? No, I counted 4, so. All right, and that will bring us to our new business. The first meeting is the public hearing of the Evermore at Pierce Farm and a new liquor license. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 15A, notice is hereby given that the Topsfield Select Board, as the licensing authority, will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 30th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to act on a request for an on-premises all-alcohol beverage license by the following applicant: Michael Gallant of Topsfield Functions LLC, DBA Evermore at Pierce Farm Estate, located at 116 Boston Street, Topsfield, Massachusetts, signed by me, Raphael McDonald, Select Board Chair. With that, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I was supposed to ask if there's room for discussion first, my apologies. So let me redo that. Any discussion? All right, let me do that again. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the public meeting is open.
Though it has nothing to do with the public meeting, I just want to note that Kevin Hartunian has no future as a spy or anyone who moves quietly through a building.
Those are my best ninja moves,
Yeah.
Mr. Howden.
With that,
All right, thank you. Let me first go to any discussion or public comment.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Nancy O'Neill. I'm attorney with D'Ambrosio LLP, located at 185 Devonshire Street, Boston. I represent Topsfield Functions LLC, the applicant in this matter, and also the common victualler's license also on for tonight. My client purchased this property earlier this year. He intends to undertake a number of improvements to increase operational safety and overall the condition of the property. The property's served liquor as a conference and event facility since 2014 under the licenses of caterers. What my client intends to do here is to take control of that license. He actually has a similar license for the Ocean View of Nahant, which is a similar facility that he and his family operate. We had a meeting last Monday with the Alcohol Advisory Committee. We'd like to thank them for their helpful review and feedback, which has been very valuable to us as we finalize our plans for the property. Out of that meeting, we'd like to supplement our application and provide more thorough and detailed plans for the review of the town. For that reason, we would respectfully request that this hearing be continued to the next meeting of the Select Board. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any immediate questions from the board?
I do. Tell me a little bit about, you mentioned that Mr. Gallant has businesses going other places. Tell me a little bit about those.
Mr. Gallant and his wife, Brenda Gallant, they operate the Ocean View of Nahant. If you're familiar with it, it was the Tony Panigliaro property in Nahant. It's a very similar wedding venue to what he recently purchased at 116 Boston Street. He's owned that facility for around 12 to 15 years. He's had a liquor license there, the same as this category is what we're applying for here, for 12 years without incident. And we believe that this gives him greater oversight as to alcohol service, oversight as to what's happening on the grounds. And that's why we would like to get this liquor license for the new property. Instead of having different caterers come in and have their procedures and their oversight, we'd like to employ our own trained bartenders and our own trained staff and oversee the facility more closely.
So he's been there and done that.
At Nahant,
I mean,
yes.
he's run a facility and he's done that, and he doesn't own it anymore, I take it?
Oh, no, he does.
He
The
still
family-
does?
The family still owns that
Okay,
facility.
cool, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm guessing there are no other questions from the public or any other interested parties. So I see no problem, so I'd make a motion to continue the public hearing to our next full meeting on July 21st, 2025.
I'll
Second.
second that. Oh, she will.
Okay, any discussion or concerns? And I assume anything that does come up, you said you were going to supplement the application, we can reach
Yes.
out and also ask questions that night as well. Okay, then I will, let's see, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And no abstentions. Along those same lines, we are going to skip the next item, which is the victualler's license, and take that up on the same day. Okay, thank you very much. Then moving right along, we will go to the next public hearing about water rates. Notice is hereby given that the Topsfield Select Board will hold a public meeting information on location, which was on the agenda posting, on Monday, June 30th, 2025 at 7 PM for the purpose of setting water rates, signed by me, Raphael McDonald, Select Board Chair. Any motions? All right, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. With that, I'd ask if there's any public questions. Doug? No.
I don't think, doesn't look like it.
All right, but we can still have this discussion. Or do I close the public hearing?
No, we're part of the public. I
We're
think
part of
we-
the public?
Yep.
Okay, let me turn it over to Superintendent Greg.
Thank you very much. As we discussed a few weeks ago, some rate adjustment will be needed to cover the budget that was approved at May town meeting. So I sent a packet with a memo summarizing what is needed and some of the different options that were included. A copy of the rate model, including billing volumes and sales forecasts. And then 5 different options for rates. And over the weekend, Bob had some questions, so I looked at a 6th yesterday. So my recommendation is to adjust the water rates, to leave the service fee alone and just apply what is considered the all rate adjustment. And that would be the only change to the current rate structure. No proposed changes to fees. It would just change Tier 1 rate from $19.50 to $21.94 per 1,000 gallons. Tier 2 from $22.91 to $25.78 per 1,000. And to Tier 3 from $29.41 to $33.09. And happy to answer any questions the board may have, or any discussion is welcome.
Well, it's not my system to get involved in these kind of details. I put a lot of faith in the people that are running these departments, you particularly in this particular instance. And so I have no objection to where you want to go. It is what it is. It's a budget issue. It's an expenditure issue, and that's what we've got to do to pay for what we drink. So that's my comment.
Okay.
Thank you, Greg.
Welcome.
And just to confirm, for all 3 tiers, this is generally how so you pay more if you use more.
Correct. And towns have different ways of approaching this. It's some have a fixed fee and includes a certain volume of water with it, and then there's overages on top of that. Some towns have seasonal rates, like Ipswich has a winter rate and a summer rate. Some towns we have 3 tiers. Some towns had as many as 7. I think Manchester by the Sea had quite a few more. So instead of having sizable break points, it's more of a gradual implementation of the higher prices. It depends on how you want to spread the cost burden across the customer base and what the priorities are.
Do you know how long we've been doing it that way? About?
Since the early 2000s.
It's always been all rate?
Well, when I first started, it was a 1 rate per 1,000 gallons, no matter how much you used. And then in the early 2000s, it switched to a increasing block rate structure like this. And then typically the rate increase was applied, across the board. And I think what ends up happening over the years is, the rates kind of spread out. The low rate doesn't increase as much as the higher rate, so and eventually they have to be readjusted, which has been done a few times. And the service fee, that's been adjusted a couple times over the year. I think it started off at $12.50 per 6 months. And that's been adjusted over the years.
And the fee amount, is that per 1,000 gallons as well, or what is that?
That's a flat
Per-
fee basically per meter.
Yeah.
So if you don't use any water, that's
still paying that.
that's the minimum charge.
Yeah, and in general, when it comes to utilities, that's to cover fixed charges, things like infrastructure where you need a pipe, whether you're using it or not, you need a pipe.
Right.
So
And-
there is some logic and some precedent for putting some of the cost increase in the fee, for sure.
Yeah.
But we have not traditionally done that.
We have since the early 2000s. There's been a service fee first appeared in like 2002 or 3.
Oh, I mean, how often have we updated that service? fee?
We've updated it 2 or 3 times since then,
Okay.
not very often.
Okay.
And if you look at our budget, a lot of our budget is fixed. You have to do the same amount of water testing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Very little of it actually varies.
right.
So we're charging a variable usage rate or a budget that
It's largely fixed.
largely fixed, but
Yeah.
it works out in the end.
I mean, regardless, we've got to raise the same amount of revenue. It's just whether it's in the variable or the fixed. And considering how much of the budget increase is tied to the fixed, the debt, I'm interested in the rest of the board's opinions, but I could be persuaded to go with the mixed approach here, which increases the flat fee and then keeps the fee increase on the tier 1, the variable portion smaller. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks. I know Bob's comments, to put those in the record, were that he preferred the all rate. So between the two of him and I think we have a 1-to-1, so it's gonna kind of come down to the 3 of you guys on what you want. Whether we can stick with what we've traditionally done or put more into the fee.
Greg, your opinion on what we should do.
Well, I think
And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I just,
it's been, off the top of my head, it's probably been about more than 5, less than 10 years since the fee was adjusted. I think, one of Bob's comments and one of mine is that there's a balance on how much you want to raise the rate for the people that are on the lower end of use fixed incomes, use a little bit of water. That may actually be somewhat cheaper for some people to do the fixed increase rather than the large increase on the lower rate. It's certainly an option.
so we can make those people's lives a little bit easier.
Well, I think if you raise the fee $12 a month, the water rate only goes up less than $2 per 1,000 gallons, as opposed to
244.
$2.44. So it'll be probably a wash, and it'll be a pretty close number, I would think, for that
Sounds like,
That's on the fixed?
on the fixed.
yeah.
Were you suggesting fixed or mixed?
Mixed. I
Mixed.
was suggesting mixed.
Mixed, okay. Yes, mixed.
The fixed is the $3 and then the $6 no matter what, right? So they rise like this.
Right.
But the fixed is, excuse me, the most, I'll call it, friendly to the people at the lowest end?
I think the most friendly would probably be a pretty close between all rate and mixed,
Okay.
because they have the lowest dollar per gallon cost in the lower tier. It's just a matter of, depending on how much they use, does that offset the increase in the fixed, the $12 increase in the fixed fee?
And the fee is quarterly, right?
Yes.
So how many gallons, you pay $12 a quarter, so $4 a month more under the mixed, but then you're saving, what is that, 78 cents for every 1,000 gallons. So there's some break-even point where some people in tier one will do better and some people in tier one will do worse. I'm feeling real strong opinions from everyone here.
I think my concern
That's
is
pretty
that
difficult for me to be terribly strong about either one of them.
if you're good about water conservation, then you could end up getting penalized with mixed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like for example, if your water usage is 1 gallon, you're gonna pay more. But if your water usage is 1 gallon less than the tier 2 user, then you're gonna pay less.
It's probably around 6,000 gallons a quarter,
6,000.
I would think is the break point. So if you use less than 6, it would be slightly more expensive. If you use more than 6, it would be slightly more expensive to use less than 6, slightly less expensive to use between 6 and 12 compared to the all rate.
So,
But 6,000 gallons a quarter is,
Not a lot of water.
not a lot of water.
I think I've said before, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned that before.
I am not either.
So I'm going to ask simple questions that somebody here, maybe you will think, I don't understand how this dummy got here if you can't even understand these simple things. So to Michelle's question, is the all rate the most friendly to the water conservationist?
Yes,
Okay.
I would say so.
For people who use less than 6,000 gallons a quarter.
That's 67 gallons a day, so their average is like 52 gallons per day per person.
Is that what our town average is?
Yes.
Okay.
And Greg, you say that's the best for conservation because it's purely based on how much you use.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one that gets the higher tiers are most expensive at that rate, and theoretically that will drive conservation.
Well, in that case, I'm falling in the category of all rate because I definitely want to promote conservation. And a simple model of the more you use, the more you pay.
Simple.
Go by my
Depends
house,
on-
look at my lawn, tell me if
Depends-
I'm watering it. Or, I'm sorry, my moss, and tell
Well,
me if
or
I'm
it depends
watering
on
it.
how many times you take a shower in a week, or once a week, or
17 showers a week for me, Boyd, if that's what you want.
All right, I just realized we're still in the public hearing portion,
Which is fine.
which is fine.
it's all right.
We are the public.
That's all right.
All right, but we're not gonna vote on anything until we
Close
close
it.
or
Yes.
continue that hearing.
That's right.
So, all right, so I got all rate,
All right.
thumbs up.
I-
Okay. All right.
I gotta go with the majority here.
Then, any other discussion in the public hearing for the superintendent?
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, well, discussion on closing the public hearing? None. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, so the public hearing is closed, and now we go to what the actual rate will be. And it sounds like we've got, well, like I said, 3 for the all rate increase, 1 thumbs up, and 1 for the fixed. So we know which motion should be made.
Hold on.
I'm just looking at how do we, I don't see the words in there anywhere for all rate or what. So is the request from you is
Yes, adopt the all rate
Okay.
option.
So then I would move to approve the request from the Topsfield Water Department and Water Superintendent Greg Crom to set the water rates for the town of Topsfield beginning July 1, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A, B.
I can't write unanimous.
Can't write unanimous. Thank you very much, but
Thanks,
don't
Greg.
go anywhere, Greg,
I wouldn't dream of it.
because it has been a whopping, 3 weeks since we came out of the drought? Maybe 4. And with that, let me turn it over to you again about what we're discussing now.
So the next topic is water restrictions, and we typically have restrictions implemented every summer due to low Ipswich River stream flow. These restrictions originated in a withdrawal permit that was issued by Mass DEP back in 2006. And since that time, our summertime usage has lowered our annual consumption to the point where, because of these restrictions, we were able to give up the permit, which was due to be renewed, and the renewed permit would have given us less water and more regulations. So it's one of those things, we were able to get away with the permit, but now it's up to us to maintain our lower than previously seen summertime use to stay within our current constraints. Typically, the restrictions begin with a voluntary restriction when the Ipswich River gauge drops below 100 cubic feet per second for 3 consecutive days. That happened within the last week. Mandatory restrictions start when average daily flow drops below 52.5 cubic feet per second. And it was below that level on Saturday, Sunday, and again today. Typically, the mandatory restrictions start the first week of July, based on historical records that go back to 1933. That's where the median flow drops below the mandatory threshold, so we're kind of right on schedule, despite having just gotten out of a drought and had a very wet April and May. So my recommendation is to implement a mandatory outdoor water use restriction, which prohibits the use of irrigation systems at any time and limits non-essential use to handheld implements, basically low-intensity devices, handheld hoses, watering cans, drip irrigation systems, before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. each day.
None of this.
None of the spraying the water around, especially during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And this would apply to water customers only, or private wells that are located on properties that are served by town water.
So what these motions do, we're not declaring anything. We're empowering you to declare it.
That
Right.
works too.
Well, that's how the motions are written, because we have 2 of them. One for below 100 cubic feet
And
for
one
a
for below.
voluntary outdoor, and one for below 52.5 for a mandatory outdoor.
That's right. What's staggering to me is it was 5 weeks ago, the water flow has come down tenfold in the last 5 weeks. Even with the rain, every weekend that we've had, it was over 400 cubic feet. And I think, because we'll get flack for this, right? There's,
Oh, of
correct
course.
me if I'm wrong, there's 3 ways we declare the emergency. One is the state tells us we have to. 2, the water flow, and then 3, there's something about groundwater levels too, right?
If we have an equipment problem, or if we have problems keeping up with demand.
Okay.
There's a whole host of things that the state looks at when they consider droughts. But there's really, for us to declare
For us.
locally, it's stream flow, equipment failure, or, inability to supply the water.
Wow.
Those are really the 3 reasons we do it on our own.
It's staggering.
And usually when I put the sign up, it's usually raining. So I
Yeah.
might go get the sign and put it up
Get it back
right now
Get that
before the
right
rain starts.
Well, it really boils down to what the Ipswich River's doing.
This does, yes.
That's your guideline, and it doesn't matter how we feel about it, that's what's gotta be done.
I mean, this is very mathematical in that way. This is
Yeah.
not us, putting our finger in the breeze and saying it feels. This is measured output, or whatever the word is, probably not output, but it's by the numbers. It's
And the-
nothing more than that.
And the people that are gonna complain about it are the people who put their finger in the air
Yeah.
and say, what do we need to do?
Well, I mean,
different?"
honestly, last time it was because the sign was sitting in a puddle. And so if the sign is sitting in a puddle, of course we have enough water, because that's the scientific way to look at it.
And I'd actually point out too, who was it, Hamilton? Hamilton never came out of their drought, did they, or did they do that very recently?
I'm not sure.
Their
And I-
sign was up, I know, even 2 weeks ago still. Which maybe they were out, they just
They
hadn't
just
taken the
didn't
sign.
decide.
They just didn't get it. They knew it was going back up
Yeah.
anyway, so.
All right.
I'm going to move to allow the water superintendent to declare a state of water supply conservation when the Ipswich River average daily stream flow falls below 100 cubic feet per second at the Ipswich gauge for 3 consecutive days from today through September 30th of this year, and implement a voluntary outdoor water use peak hours ban where water customers are asked to curtail non-essential outdoor water use between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. each day, period. That's the first piece of punctuation. Voluntary restrictions will expire on October 1st of this year or can be removed by a vote of the select board.
Second.
God, he loves to do that.
I do miss reading these really long
Can I
ones.
offer an amendment right before the period, and to notify the select board members upon doing so?
Sure. I accept your amendment as the guy who took the motion.
All
Made
right,
the
so I think
motion.
we need to vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. So now we vote on the amended motion. Any other discussion before we do that? All right, all in
Good.
favor of the amended motion?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Any additional motions?
I make a motion to vote
Here
to
we go.
allow the water superintendent to declare a state of water supply conservation when Ipswich River average daily stream flow falls below 52.5 cubic feet per second at the Ipswich gauge for 3 consecutive days from today through September 30th of this year, and implement a mandatory outdoor water use restriction where non-essential outdoor water use is prohibited during peak hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, and is limited to low-intensity uses during off-peak hours. Mandatory restrictions will expire on October 1st of this year, or by can be removed by vote. I'm going to read that again. Mandatory restrictions will expire on October 1st of this year, or can be removed by vote of the select board.
I'll second that, and then I'll wait for the chair's amendment to it.
Yes.
You wouldn't second
He's gonna do it
until I
again.
amended it.
Yeah.
I'd move to amend by adding, and to notify select board members upon doing so.
All those in favor of the
All those in
amendment?
favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
All opposed? None. Okay, any other discussion on the amended motion?
I meant to add that in there, but I was losing breath.
It's a very long sentence.
See,
But there was an extra.
you haven't
but-
had as much practice
I
as
know,
he
that
has.
was, that was rough.
He didn't run out of breath.
I just want to, I'm going to say this out loud so that it gets covered, but from a procedure perspective, I'll say, we follow the state, so we can't be less restrictive than the state. So if the state comes out and says there's a water ban, at minimum, we have to follow the state,
If they're stricter, yes.
if they're more strict.
If they're more strict.
We have the option to be more strict.
Correct.
If based on local evaluation. Okay, I just want to make that clear.
Yep.
I lost my my train of thought. Right, we're gonna vote on the amended motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. It passes.
I didn't know.
And you're the one that gets to take all the heat.
That's
when,
all right. I've been called the water Nazi before.
No water for you. All right, and next we're gonna stay with water. We're going to the Lockwood Lane Water Main Design Contract Acceptance. And I'm not sure if I turn it to the, no, okay, now I'm sure. We'll turn it back over to the superintendent.
So this is a contract amendment to the design contract we have with Weston and Sampson Engineers. This is to cover the construction phase of the Lockwood Lane area, water main improvements. Essentially, they're going to be looking over all the submittals of the equipment and materials the contractor wants to use for this project, monitor their progress. They'll have somebody on site every day, keeping track of what they're doing and how much material they're using and things of that nature. Review all the requisitions the contractor submits and make recommendations on whether or not the amount should be paid. So it's really the construction oversight phase of the project.
Is this different than what was already approved or part of what was approved at town meeting?
It's part of the article.
It's part of it.
So we put enough money into the article to cover the cost for the construction and the project oversight.
Okay.
I just received the contracts from the successful bidder today. So those will be approved at a future meeting.
Okay. And my other question is on the article itself, are we approving the full amount or can we do this not to exceed? Because that was the language in the contract, was a not to exceed.
We can do a not to exceed. That's typically how
Yeah,
how it's done.
okay.
Just clarification for me. I'm a relatively simple guy. Are we approving a contract for Western and Sampson for $192,600 to oversee the project?
Yes.
This is, and the actual project of replacing that water main is, we talked about that in the past. What kind of number are we
It's
talking about?
just shy of $1.8 million.
Which makes oversight and engineering at 192,000 seem a little not so crazy at that point.
10%.
Doesn't seem so crazy, I agree, and I'm a little more comfortable with that at this point because of that number. But my original thought was 192,600 is a pretty steep number for oversight.
And engineering.
It's, and the difference between this and what we've done in the past is in the past, we've typically had a part-time resident engineer on site to watch them, watch what they're doing, and the combination between water department personnel and the resident engineer, we kind of split the duties.
Yeah.
This year it's a little different, seeing as, we don't really have much of a water department staff.
You've been depleted in a sense.
Yes. So the contractor wants to start work by the end of July. And I don't think we're going to be back to full staff by then. So that's why this is percentage-wise, I think it's a little higher than we've done in the past.
Just one more question. Are you comfortable with the fact that you're getting the benefit of $192,000 from Western and Sampson?
Yes. I'm of the opinion that once the stuff is buried, it's too late. You need to have somebody there pretty much watching what's going on all the time. And it's,
Case closed.
Yeah.
My case is closed.
okay.
And how long will the project be?
I'm not entirely sure exactly, but they'll probably be here a couple of months doing the pipe work. And then they'll be back in the spring doing the permanent pavement repair.
We've talked about April being the target date, but that's
Yeah.
very flexible at the moment. And I would say though too, and this is not to open up another conversation, but just to put on your radar, with the tank debt and this also being debt that we're laying on top for these two projects, we've had some recent conversations about continuing the ban, which is short-term borrow, past that April and into potentially the next fiscal year, and taking out the long-term debt at that time, based on what we forecast being, our favorable financial documentation going to the next fiscal year, which will help us with bond rating and ultimately help us with keeping the lowest interest rate possible when we go for permanent bonding.
So that engineer will be on site for the entire 2 months, if it takes 2 months.
Yes.
And why don't we do the pavement until next spring?
Because you're digging a trench that's, 6 feet deep, and they usually give it the winter to settle.
Okay. Yeah.
So it will be dirt, or will it have temporary pavement?
There'll be temporary pavement.
Okay.
We'll settle a little bit and then we'll
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
The frost heaves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Vibration of the traffic, all that good stuff.
It needs time to settle, there's no
Yeah.
question.
And I forget how, sorry, you're gonna go?
No, go ahead.
How long, what was the distance of,
I think it's like
400.
1.3 miles.
Yeah, 6,400 linear feet, Edwin?
I like your answer more than his.
Yeah,
'Cause that's a number I can do something.
6,400 linear feet.
That doesn't help me.
So you'll go to 28 and change for miles.
thank you.
How many
Quarter.
football fields?
Too many. Divide by 3, divide by 100.
1.21 miles.
1.21 what?
Miles.
No, I mean, what's the next decimal?
Oh, yeah, no, he wants, I'm still waiting for a football field.
1.2.
Will you take me over there and show me what's going on, and where we're talking about?
Sure.
Just so I can visualize what we're spending this money for? Okay. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion on the Weston and Sampson contract acceptance?
I would just, one thing to add, Greg and I went out and spoke with the neighbors, 8 months ago, plus or minus,
That's-
on site. This area of town, there's been a lot of issues with water main breaks, just by the vintage of it, the condition. Neighbors were very much favorable and supportive of the idea, obviously, and appreciative of the efforts. Since then, we obviously went to town meeting. It was, I think, voted unanimously at town meeting. And from an outreach perspective, Superintendent Crom and I will be hopefully back.
I'll share in a moment.
Hopefully be back out on site with the neighbors shortly, just to kind of give them an update on where the project's going, so that there's no surprises.
Lest I be accused of a public meeting violation, it's 17.75 football fields in length.
Well,
That's what I was showing.
I was gonna say lots to your question earlier, but that seems
American
more
football
suspicious.
fields, I assume?
Well, they put the football field at 360 feet long, and that includes end zones.
Right, clearly.
So, a standard American football field.
I thought you weren't a numbers guy.
I'm not, but ChatGPT is.
And you like football.
Disregard what it says, because you can't believe it yet.
Well,
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
wait, I was going to say, I don't think we've done a
I'll
motion
make a
yet. So
motion.
I'll move to
Motion?
approve
No.
a contract between the town of Topsfield and Weston and Sampson Engineers Incorporated for construction, oversight, and resident engineer services for the Lockwood Lane area water main improvement project in the amount not to exceed $192,600.
Second.
All right, any other discussion?
I just have a basic problem with that size of that number. Subject closed.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Motion.
Did you,
I voted aye, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm
It was a very quiet aye.
I was still.
A reluctant,
I was
quiet
still
aye.
contemplating what $192,000 means.
I was trying to figure out which option I hadn't gone over yet.
I'm good.
Angrily votes aye, but doesn't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just want to thank Superintendent Crom too. This is a lot of hard work. It's gone into the water tank. He is short-staffed at the moment.
Of course.
Very appreciative of the work.
Of course.
And I hope the folks who benefit from it over on Lockwood Lane as well appreciate it. It is a significant amount of money we're putting, that the town voted unanimously for, to get them the level of services that they need to.
Hopefully it continues when it's in front of somebody else's house in
Yeah.
10
Or
years.
PFAS.
When people need it, we take care of it.
That's right.
And then come springtime, they'll have a shiny new road. so.
Right. That's nice.
I'm gonna show you, I want you to show me this Lockwood Lane project. I'll be in touch.
Okay.
And the pavement's included in that cost, right?
The permanent patch is included, yes.
The repaving, I believe, will be Chapter 90 money
That
from
will
the
be-
state.
Yeah, Chapter 90 money.
Okay, all right, moving on to item F, Topsfield Police Department donation acceptance.
Thanks, Greg.
And over to Chief.
This is the easy one.
Yes, we hope so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Select Board members. So I'm here tonight to come before you to ask you for your favorable vote in accepting a $6,500 donation from the Essex Agricultural Society, also known as Topsfield Fair, to pay for the lease of our motorcycle. They've done this for numerous years. This year, there was a significant increase from $5,000 to $6,500. I worked with Mr. O'Brien, the general manager. He graciously said, not a problem, and is going to make the payment upon your vote to accept this donation.
Any questions or discussion?
I'm not able to do a ride-along on the motorcycle, right?
Does have a sidecar.
Okay, just checking.
One seat.
I'd like to see that.
Question? Is this something you need, or is this something they want to give you that you don't really need? Tell me a little about your feeling about this motorcycle.
No, the motorcycle is an absolute asset. We can't have access to the rail trail or a lot of our off-roads and stuff through Bradley Palmer or the Audubon Society. So this gives us greater, usage for something off-road, and we can get to somebody quicker. So it's been a huge asset for us. It's something that we've always wanted. If you date back into the 80s, Jimmy Harris and Glenn Walker used their own personal motorcycles and they outfitted them.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's how far we've gone back, that we've had motorcycles at the Topsfield Police Department. We use them, we use up to 5 or 6 of them during the Topsfield Fair for those 11 days. We bring in other agencies to supplement our one vehicle. Dealing with Seacoast Harley is a wonderful organization. They, for the 11 days, donate a second bike to us for that week. So we're fortunate to be able to use this motorcycle that's leased year-round. So it's a huge asset to us.
That's good news. Do they offer this, or do you have to go beat them up to do that? Do they just offer this without you saying a word?
I've never asked. It's not in my nature to go ask somebody for a donation. It's just every year I confirm whether they're going to, and it's just been automatic. It's like a blanket approval every single year. So I can't thank them enough for their generosity of this donation continuously to the police department.
Good enough for me, thank you.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to vote to accept a donation of $6,500 from the Essex Agricultural Society to be utilized for a lease with Seacoast Harley Davidson for a motorcycle for the Topsfield Police Department.
I'll second that.
I'd just say, we're super grateful for EAS's continued support of the Topsfield Police Department and their dedication to public safety. These, I think, are some of the examples where folks around town might not know that they do these kinds of things. So to the extent possible, thank you to EAS. It's a sign of, being a good neighbor. Like I said, oftentimes goes unseen, but the board and I'm sure anybody who actually knows about it in town offers our gratitude.
Just a comment, and I do hear comments and questions regularly about what does the fair do for the town of Topsfield. We hear a lot about that, and we always try to talk about details and motorcycles and those kinds of things, because there's a fair amount of money that comes out of that to the town of Topsfield, and so it's important that we're able to verbalize that when it comes time to do that. And
Yep.
Appreciate it.
They're a very generous organization to, that huge number of their 10% administrative cost for that, but the usage of their facilities.
Yeah.
We did some hostage negotiation training over there this past week. They let us use all their facilities for a junior youth police academy, so they opened up their arms. They came over there, they offered sprinklers when on the hot days. They went out and bought ice cream and served the ice cream to all we had 18 kids between 11 and 13 signed up for it. It was, Mr. O'Brien was over there every day just saying, what else can I do for you? So it's just, a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, the generosity of allowing me to use the Coolidge Hall for all law enforcement training and other meetings, which it's really expensive to rent that facility and stuff, but it's thousands and thousands of dollars that, he donates, for the usage of his facilities and stuff, so.
That's
Alright.
it for me, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Any other discussion? We already had a motion and a second, so all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you, Chief.
speaking of money and donations, we will now turn to a donation acceptance for the Recreation Department. Mr. Hartunian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have a donation from the Tri-Town Human Rights Coalition. During their activities at the beginning of this month, June, they had an event, and there was use of our recreation tent that we have. Unfortunately, it was damaged, and so this donation is to recoup the loss and allow us to replace the damaged tent.
Funny.
Is that the tent that's outside?
Yes, that was
No.
the replacement one, actually.
There's another tip outside, that's not ours. It's ours, but it's not.
Is that
Okay.
the health, Board of Health one?
No, it's COA.
Oh, it's a nice tent.
We have a few tents in different departments.
Yeah, we do, right?
Alright, any questions or motions?
Thank you to them for recognizing and contributing back.
I'll make.
I'm ready for, oh, there it
The
is.
impression
Go ahead. Go.
Move to accept a donation of $149.99 from the Tri-Town Human Rights Coalition to be utilized for the purchase of supplies for the Topsfield Recreation Department.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the appointments for boards, committees, commissions, and departments. And I think I turn it back to Kevin? Or is this on
Certainly.
me?
Annually, there's a reappointment of those positions on boards and committees, and there's a couple of departments, or staff, I should say, that we reappoint through the select board. And so, we do every year in our last meeting of the fiscal year, we ask for the board to read and approve the reappointments of the people on the list provided.
I think I'll just add as additional background, I did have the pleasure of speaking with several of those who are being reappointed, just to gather their vision for the town of Topsfield. Well, first of all, to confirm that they wanted to be reappointed, but also to see what their vision was, make sure, they're not trying to turn us into the city of Cambridge or anything like that. And, not everything is completely perfectly aligned with our boards, but even being 5, I'd say we're not completely perfectly aligned here either. But there were no red flags. And to everybody on the list, whether they're being reappointed or in the middle of their term, this town cannot run without volunteers. Their dedication and hard work, even when they are getting yelled at by other townsfolk. And I'll go out on a limb and say the board sincerely appreciates the time and effort that they put into their respective roles.
There's no question, and I'd just like to add the fact that if the average citizen, and I don't know if there is such a thing, but if the average citizen could see this list of the number of people that are involved in trying to run this town, they would be impressed, because most people don't understand, in my opinion, what it takes to try to make this thing work. And It's amazing, and no matter how long this list is, we still need more all the time. So it's just amazing. And you go down this list and you see the same names over and over, and year after year after year. And it's amazing that we do have new people coming in and doing things for us. And I think I better shut up and leave it.
Yeah, Mr. Dix, I would just emphasize that point. The last 5.5 years I've been here, been touched by the number of people in this community that have raised their hand and wanted to be involved in something for the first time, and those who've come along for the ride and stayed on these boards and committees. We got a lot of volunteers doing a lot of great work. And to your point, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. So thank you as well. To echo your words, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the board, thank you for all the volunteers and their willingness to continue to contribute to the town of Topsfield and their partnership.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot and say you ought to read all their names. I don't think so.
Marshall did let
Member
them.
Hook
Hold
might
on,
want
because
to.
I have two questions here. One, I was required to read all of these names. Have you changed this motion in a way that no longer requires the reading of the entire list, the year, and all of that?
You know, Chair Hook,
Yeah.
Chair McDonald is all about creating efficiencies.
Okay. Now I'll ask my more serious question. I know you said you've spoken to some of these people.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume there's some people we didn't speak to, because there's at least one person on this list who no longer lives in town. So, I will once again, I know that for 5 years I've said the same thing. At some point, I think we need to do a serious, literally every name on here go over. I believe the Palaces moved out of town. They sold their house 2 months ago. So I don't suggest that we reappoint Kristen Palace as a alternate to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Made you a bad guy for 2 months.
That's all.
I didn't know they'd moved though.
They did. They had moved. They did move both those things.
So, along those lines, I
Well,
think
now because I removed it, you can't read the.
Now, where did they go?
we can do it.
I have
It's
no
amended,
idea where
right?
they went.
With the amendment.
The chances are they moved out of town and they raised the status of both towns.
This is a great segue then. That means there's an open position. And I know there are lots of folks who have spent a lot of time expressing their views and opinions on different social media platforms about different things that the town has been doing. They say they do not have time to volunteer. I would say two things to them. One, getting on a committee and being part of the solution is infinitely more effective than grousing about things on Facebook.
Isn't that
Number
the truth?
two, if you have 10 hours to write replies on Facebook about the things you don't like, then I don't necessarily believe that you do not have the ability or the time to contribute, because some of these committees don't even take that long.
You know, I was not
I
going
don't.
to bring this up till later on, but I will point out that I started to do the math on one particular commenter who I will not name. But this person commented in excess of 60 comments across 10 different posts and created at least one on their own. This is another person who didn't go to town meeting for at least the last 3 years and hasn't been to any of the meetings that Trash or other things have held. So to your point, I would say that specific person has ample amount of time over several days, not just in one day, but several days, weeks even, to do all of that. I started to count the number of words. It's in the thousands. So don't tell me you don't have time. If you have time to do that, you have time to attend meetings. You have time to volunteer.
Mr. Chairman, if I could as well, also encourage people who have found good reason to support the efforts that we've taken. I know there are some people on a certain platform that might have opinions, and we welcome them to share those, but also have conversation with us, because those are the time opportunities to learn what their perspectives are and maybe provide some information to them as well that can help understand. But in the last couple of weeks, we've had a very important, and I'll talk about some ITA updates, transformative.
I was going to talk about my select board updates too.
We'll all talk about it. It's a big deal.
We'll get to
But it's. I would say, you know, there's a few people on a social media platform that have had opinions, and that's, again, welcome, and we encourage them to reach out to us. But we've been overwhelmed in our office and throughout the town hall with the number of people who've come in explicitly to say thank you, who support the project, support the efforts, support the team that's been doing amazing work answering questions in real time without delay. Or if they don't have the answer, finding out and responding immediately. The person to my left, Sam Warren, has done. But there's been
She
some,
doesn't have a nameplate. We can't know what her name is.
Hold on.
That's fine, don't worry about it.
But she is an example of what many people have done, but somebody who I would call out is doing some amazing work on behalf of this town, because it's change and people have had questions, people have had concerns, people have had perspective, and every single one of them that's reached out to us has got an immediate response, and the overwhelming support and positivity in those conversations has really been overwhelming. So we hope those people volunteer as well.
Absolutely.
There's no question. It's amazing.
Okay, so anybody feel like wordsmithing a motion?
I feel like saying,
He's
And
ready.
amend that motion.
yeah. I move to reappoint the individuals to various boards, committees, that doesn't need an apostrophe, and commissions for the terms presented in the document titled FY26 Appointments Memo to the SB, including the one amendment made.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We just saved you 12 minutes.
We did.
Say, you too?
Yeah. I said you.
At least.
I mean, I'm saving all of us.
Yes.
Thanks, I'm gonna turn into an ice cube.
Right? Okay, and then we need to, well, we have the opportunity to affirm the appointments that both the fire and police chief have made. If I remember correctly from last year, they have the authority to make the appointments. We are simply affirming that.
I'm looking through them.
And I will emphasize, that's mostly because in some of the collective bargaining agreements, it spells that out specifically, that they will be appointed. We've worked in our last round of negotiations to pull that language out, as it's something antiquated now that you have a town administrator, you have the authority in the chiefs to make hires. So this is more of a belt and suspender motion, but it checks the right boxes to make sure that we're in compliance with the collective bargaining agreements.
Okay?
I make a motion to vote to affirm the appointments made from Police Chief Neil Hovey and Fire Chief Jen Collins Brown for the terms presented in the document titled FY26 Appointments Police and FY26 Appointments Fire.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion, I forgot to say aye. That's four ayes. Okay, then we are moving right along. I'm going to take on we've tabled one agenda item, but we're going to move on to TA Hartunian's review. I'm going to sheepishly try and get through this, and then I will look over here and they will kick me under the table if I get things wrong. Evaluation time's upon us, and the vice chair and I spoke a few weeks ago. I think everybody's in agreement. Let's try and get this over with sooner rather than later while the last year is fresh in our minds. So we're asking the board to provide their feedback by July 9th. To Sam, who will collate that feedback, get it to us for the weekend so we can review, and then discuss it on our work session the next week.
Which would be the 21st? No,
16.
16th. That's, the regular section is 21, so the work session is 16.
That's right. Got it.
I'd also just ask of the board members, like we've done in the past, if there's anything that a score below a 2 or above a 4 be accompanied by some rationale. It would take us a very, very long time to write everything. If the score is a 3 and we think Kevin's doing a good job, maybe we don't need the rationale, but anything on either end of those spectrum, please make sure that we provide some feedback. And also do feel free to provide feedback. This is Kevin's chance for us to tell him how he can do his job better. Okay, anything that I'm missing there? No, all right. Good. Then we will move on to the next one, which is annual goals. Similarly, we're hoping to do a review of our priorities for the next 12 months. Well, I guess at this point for the next 10 months. While the past fiscal year, again, is still fresh in our minds. To that extent, again, we're soliciting feedback on what our goals for the next year should be. The natural place to start, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, would be with what we had last year. Go through, cross out the things that have been achieved, cross out the things that are no longer applicable, add the things that we want to really get to. Answer those same questions. Do the top 6 line, one thing I want to know is those, we had 6 top line goals. Are those still our main drivers? And then underneath one of those is kind of like the tasks that we will use to judge our effectiveness. So similarly, we're looking for the board to have a think about these, send thoughts back to Sam again by the 9th for collation and the start of the discussion on the work session. Sam told me September 16th. I actually think that means July 16th.
It's July 16th.
Maybe.
September 16th works for me too. That goes against what I was saying earlier.
I think she probably
timeliness.
meant July 16th.
So those are already all on board docs, so we don't need.
I'm more than happy to email everything out again with dates and.
Oh, we've got them all here, I think.
All right, September 9th. That's
July
July.
9th.
July.
I'll just send it out.
July
I'll send it out
9th.
again.
I'll send an email just to let you know.
July 9th.
So they're both due on July 9th?
Yeah. It's a
And then we'll
tall order.
discuss
Oh,
both
yeah.
on July 16th.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta
Very
have
efficient.
aspirations.
Yeah.
No
I mean, the
fireworks.
last chair gave you all a little bit easier. Manageable. Some of the
this
things
done
we just
and out
never
of the way.
did.
And the last chair had to read every single name. Okay, any questions on either of those last 2 items, the annual goals?
I'm good.
If, let me ask a question. If we are tardy, we can rearrange things, but we have goals. We have aspirations. Okay, good. Okay,
Do your best.
do your best.
The good news is we were all here last year, so we're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we're going to go into an executive session by roll call vote. The board will enter in closed executive session in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A, under exemption number 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. The board will return to regular open session, and this relates to the town of Topsfield versus the Essex Agricultural Society, Essex Superior Court Civil Action Number 2377 CV 00703A. Discussion on going into executive session? Or do we just roll call vote? Roll call. Just go straight to roll call. Mr. Hook?
Aye.
Mr. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Mercier-Link?
Aye.
And I am an aye. We are going into an executive session, and we will be back shortly. All right, we are back from executive session, and we're going back into public meeting to the next item, which is the town of Topsfield versus the Essex Agricultural Society. And I turn it quickly over to Mr. Hartunian. Come on in.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, after multiple years of working closely with the Essex Agricultural Society General Manager and staff, multiple rounds of negotiations, we've come to a settlement agreement and release that a week and a half ago was approved by the EAS board and signed by the General Manager. which we just discussed in executive session and is now in regular session for consideration and vote by the select board. Some of the highlights within the agreement include clear understanding of what activities require a special permit and zoning relief versus activities that are allowed by right. And EAS and the town have agreed on what those are. And what that'll do is allow the fair to continue to operate, allow for them to have events outside the fair each year to make sure that they're sustainable, profitable, and here for another 200 plus years. And at the same time, protecting the rights and the interests of the neighbors and the Topsfield community. And so after a number of significant amount of hours by a number of people, this agreement is before you, like I said, for your consideration. Some of the other quick highlights I'll just mention is that the fair, EAS will have to, before the event season happens, meet with the town administrator or their designee or designees to discuss the events for the year and just go through them to make sure which ones will need any additional ZBA relief versus those that would be allowed by right, as determined by the building inspector who will be in those meetings. And then in addition to that, there is a caveat for protection for the town, so that if a police detail and fire detail and the event that comes into town to have it, that's not EAS, but they're using the space of EAS of the fairgrounds, the town will have a cap on any exposure if someone skips town on those details going forward, protecting the taxpayers' dollars so that we're not footing the bill for an event that did not do what they said they were going to do. Grateful for a lot of people's efforts, including the Chair McDonald, who sat in negotiations, and former Chair and Member Hook, who also sat in those negotiations earlier in the process as well. And I'm here to answer any questions the board might have.
Well, I feel the board has talked about things considerably, since we're just coming out of executive session, but if there are any other questions or motions?
I would like to move to approve the settlement agreement and release between the town of Topsfield, located at 8 West Common Street in Topsfield, Massachusetts, 01983, and Essex Agricultural Society with a principal place of business located at 207 Boston Street, Topsfield, Massachusetts, 01923.
Second.
We have two different zip codes in Topsfield.
I think
I'm amazed.
That's Danvers.
That's what they said on it.
I'll bet it's 01983.
Hold it, who's that on it?
I thought we only had one zip code.
I think we do too.
It is 8-3. That's a typographical error, which can be remedied.
Yep. Well, then I'm going to amend my motion to make that 01983.
I'll second.
I will also note, now that it's been seconded, that the vice chair was correct, that 01923 is Danvers.
All right, it's been seconded. I just want to acknowledge that we, the town of Topsfield, do consider EAS to be a good neighbor. And as Mr. Hartunian said, thanks for working through some difficult times. Want them to think of us similarly as a good neighbor, recognizing that we are both tied to each other, both our failures and our successes. Topsfield is synonymous with the fair, and the fair is synonymous with Topsfield, and this document leaves us all better off.
I would elaborate just a little bit. Not only are they good neighbors, but they are a value to the town of Topsfield, in my opinion. Historically, there's a lot of people that associate the fair with the town of Topsfield and vice versa, and it would be not advantageous for any of us to work to damage that relationship.
All right, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And no abstentions. So it passes. So we need to sign that tonight, correct? All right, fantastic. That concludes new business. Let's move on to the select board updates. And as tradition, start over here with Mr. Hook.
I am just going to give out a big heap and plate of compliments to everyone here in Town Hall, led by the two folks on the opposite side of the table, and Kevin and Sam. And I'm sure Kevin will add many other names to that, including Deb and any number of other people here in Topsfield. The rollout, continuing rollout of our new trash contract, the old one ending, I mean, it's effectively ended, but I think it ends at midnight, right?
Midnight tonight.
There's no trash service going on out there right now, so it's effectively ended, which means the new one begins tomorrow. It has taken a massive amount of work over many years, but I would say that the last couple weeks have been particularly pressure-packed as more and more residents learned the ins and outs of what was going to happen. I know that, as we already discussed earlier, certain corners of social media remain unhappy, but those people have not engaged in the process the way the people who have, and those people who have engaged in the process have been open-minded, and I think are realizing that this definitely can work, and it can work for families of 6, like mine. It can work for a family of 1, like we have many in town. So again, I thank all the people here at Town Hall who have worked for that, and will refrain at this moment, at least, from chastising the folks on social media who aren't really interested in having discussions, but rather just spewing. So maybe I didn't fully refrain from chastising them, but we'll call it a light chastisement at the moment. So with that, I look forward to welcoming in the new friends and thanking the outgoing folks who I know at some point in the near future will get a better chance to thank. And with that, I will relinquish my time.
Mr. Jackson.
I'm not going to talk about trash, although that is right on the front of my brain. We could talk about that all night. But I just wanted to talk about the fact that I was involved in the Strawberry Festival last weekend. I think it was last weekend, maybe 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And we served a ton of hot dogs. And I was concerned about what the weather was going to do to the attendance, but it looked like it didn't really have that much of an effect. I think the number of vendors that were involved probably was reduced, but there were a lot of people there that expressed the enjoyment of what that thing does for the town year after year after year. And I believe I'm safe in saying that it was a success for everybody involved.
And Ms. Mercer-Link.
I just have a couple of items. I'm sure Kevin's going to mention this, so I'm just going to make just a second of it. So we had the ribbon cutting for the new tennis courts, pickleball courts, and mine is more of a thank you that, that was done with grant money. And again, I really support our town hall and anyone else that has the ability to go in and get us grants that help us do things. I feel like I've said this 10 times in the last year. But this really helps us do things around town that we otherwise may not have been able to. So thank you for supporting that and getting the tennis courts refurbished. They look fabulous, and there was a game of pickleball that was played, and I'll let Kevin talk about that. I think he won.
Well, he tried. Did he win?
I think he won.
Whoa.
He did.
We'll hear about it.
He did. And then the other item I just wanted to mention was that the celebration of life for Carrie Daniel Sanger was held on the 21st. So it is worthwhile obviously mentioning that she was not only a resident of town, but she also was a business owner. She was an extremely kind human being, and she will certainly be missed in this town. Her celebration of life was on, I think, the first Saturday of no rain, which was no surprise, knowing Carrie and her big heart, that she made sure that we had sun for that day. So we will miss Carrie.
Thank you. And just a quick note, the internet's supposed to shut off around somewhere 9 o'clock for some maintenance, but we will continue recording. So it just, if you lose the live stream, sorry, nothing we can do about that, but you will get the video later on. And I don't have much else other than that, so I will turn it over to the town administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board. I'll start with 10 School Ave and updates on that. So I signed this morning the access agreement that our lawyers prepared and that Tim Collins, his lawyers, reviewed, allowing them to begin due diligence on our property. Also sent to 35R Main Street's property owner, which is Frank Ivanella, a copy of the access agreement that was prepared for that property, waiting for that to be returned. We also have been working on the purchase and sales agreement, which I hope before our next meeting, there'll be a draft that can be circulated and looked at by the board. Progress, it's moving forward. Access was the next biggest thing, even more so than the PNS, just so they can start doing the due diligence, which is really important. And then I will say that, and it was on the agenda, and I came a couple minutes late coming from the Finance Committee meeting, but I know that we had previously put on in the Assessor's Department the discussion on the impact of the override on the preliminary tax bills, and that starts tomorrow. Our first quarter bills start in July. And so the last couple of years with overrides, we've seen a 2.5% increase. We're looking at putting a 3.5%. This tool in the Assessor's Department is putting a 3.5% increase in the first and second quarter. So a little bit additional in there. Because the override was a little larger this year, that'll soften the blow when it comes to the January bill, which will be where we see the biggest increases. But that will help, like I said, soften the blow on the collection of the taxes for the fiscal year. I will point out that on the tennis courts, we talked about that, and yes, there was a couple of riveting games. I know Senator Tar participated in the game as well, and it was a lot of fun having everybody out there and to celebrate the improvements. The court looks phenomenal. I hope the community, if you haven't seen it, please go out, enjoy a game of tennis, enjoy a game of pickleball. It was just a really great event, really a lot of happy people. It was a little warm that day, but we still got a great turnout, and it was exciting.
Who did you propose theoretically beat? Theoretically?
Members of our
Pickleball community.
No, they're second graders?
My partner was Steve Carroll.
Okay.
An avid pickleballer, and we played his wife Pat, who, when I played last year with Lynn Bermudez, was on my team. I mentioned this during the remarks. I kept going in what's known as the kitchen.
Oh.
And the senior that I was playing against took great pride in welting the balls off of me when I went into the kitchen, because apparently you're not supposed to be there.
You have to stay out of the kitchen.
I learned not to do that, and so this time around I stayed out of the kitchen, and I think it helped us.
You were pretty good. Yeah, you did all right.
And Pat was across from me.
I was wearing a
right?
suit, though. That was uncomfortable in that
That
hot
was
weather.
gonna be
You
my
weren't
question.
dressed. You weren't dressed for it.
I was, but it was okay. That was my
Street shoes.
that was my athletic suit.
Extra
I
stretch.
also have a night suit when I go to bed.
Oh my gosh. Pat
But-
was across from me, right? On the
Pat
court. She
was-
had quite. She was a strong player.
She is. She's very
strong.
She's very passionate. She's
You
probably
Pat Carroll?
Is it Pat Carroll?
Yeah.
Well, they play all the time.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
was-
Abby, my wife plays with them all the time.
I was
weekly.
intimidated.
she's good.
Yeah.
It was a very great event. And thank you for those who were able to make it and join us for that. And I'll also mention the next project that's underway. It's already currently underway. Is the tot lot. And thank you to Chief Collins Brown, who secured $174,000 in grant money, talking about grant money, to make ADA compliant improvements to it, including a new surface that'll be ADA compliant, as well as ADA compliant additional elements to the playground, so that those in our community, those youth, the smaller ones, tot lot, can enjoy a lot of the same activities that they might not otherwise be able to without these improvements. So thank you to the families that have been involved in helping us with the design and the project, and again, Chief Collins Brown for securing that grant. Summer program, sticking on recreation. So we kicked off last week, partnering with the Topsfield Athletic Association, what we're referring to as the summer program. It's a sign-up program, a weekly program where families of Topsfield can sign up for a camp. Big shout out to Bill King, the president of the TA, who worked with our team and myself to establish the MOU that we agreed to at our last meeting. But a huge thank you to Katie Kerwig and her team, who's on site every day, making sure that the program is safe and fun. And then in addition to that, thank you to my team. And again, I've said thank you to Sam a couple times, and I'll say it again, especially for when things are moving and you don't necessarily have the resources to put towards it. I'm really proud of the team when they stand up and take advantage and identify the need to be present or to support and understand the importance of doing so, and they take it on, no questions asked. And Sam's been out there every single day since the program started to just check in, to make sure. I've been out there a couple times myself, but Sam's been out there on a regular basis, making sure they have what they need. We have the construction happening in the camp. We had to move the porta potty, right? So that's a thank you to Gary Wilds and his team for bringing the resources to move the porta potty. Little things, but those are the things in a program like this that they're there, and you're going to have to put resources towards. But so far, it's been successful, even with the short staffing we have. I also mentioned that National Grid has agreed to a meeting with the town, with the community. We have a section of town that services about 320 customers by Masco that has had some failures repeatedly when we've had windstorms, trees coming down, other items. We met with National Grid at our public safety meeting. They brought about a dozen people to the meeting, different people within the organization that do different things. We explained the issues at hand, and they explain that they are aware of it, and they're actually making and have approved capital improvements to the infrastructure. In addition to that, they're doing some additional tree removal around some of the sensitive areas to make sure that it's less likely to fail. And so with that knowledge, you said, National Grid, come on guys, we got to tell the community. A little reluctant, but we really worked hard to get them to understand the value. And so we are going to be meeting on Monday. Thank you to Chief Collins Brown to help me set this up as well. The chief and I will be meeting with residents. It's an open meeting. Anybody's curious about what's going on, it's at 5:30. Hopefully people can join us, and we'll have National Grid there to walk through what improvements they're making, so we can let them know that there is action happening, because power outages are a big thing in Topsfield, as we all know.
Yep. So I used to be on the board of the commissioners in Wakefield. Dollar for dollar, the best way to prevent power outages is by trimming those trees.
Trimming trees.
Not necessarily removals, but
Clearing
good
them.
tree
Clearing them.
maintenance, hands down, was the most effective way to minimize outages. Can't completely get rid of them. But
That's right.
That meeting is it tomorrow at 5:30?
Monday at 5:30.
Monday at 5:30.
And we'll have information on social media and on the website. So if anybody wants to join us, it'll be out there. And there's a handful of neighbors who've reached out to us over the last few months that we were advocating for, who will reach out specifically, invite them, and ask them to invite people who they think in their communities that will be interested in joining us as well. I will say I was appointed last week by the Board of Health to the representative for the PHE grant, which is the collaborative between Middleton, Topsfield, Boxford. Each community has a representative that's elected by their boards of health to be on the decision committee, in essence, the steering committee, the governance committee. And as we're ramping that up for the first time, talking with the chair, Cheryl Knudsen, Cheryl was initially stepped in. She's stepping back, I'm stepping in, and the hope is once we establish the governance and expectations and boundaries, that I'll be able to step back and then let the public health get back in to really make the health decisions that are necessary. had a really good kickoff meeting last week. A lot of productive conversation. We do appreciate our partnerships in Middleton and Boxford and the people here in Topsfield working hard to deliver those grant funds in the right proper places. So a lot of work still to be done. Just making everyone aware that I'm working on that. I will acknowledge this is the last Boxford Cable broadcast, and Boxford Cable has been a partner of ours for many, many years. And so we appreciate their service, and we at the same time look forward to our new partnerships in bringing local access cable and local knowledge to the members of our community in a consistent, reliable basis. So excited for the future, appreciate the past. And last but not least, we're doing some trash changes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's happening.
Have you talked about this anywhere at any time?
Might have mentioned in one or two meetings in the past, but first, I think it was said earlier, just thank you to Brian and Mike on the truck from Republic. They've been servicing many, many years, have handed out many, many dog treats. I was behind the truck a little bit earlier, was it last week? And I actually saw one or two neighbors come out and hand deliver some Gatorade and some other things saying thank you. So I know there's been a lot of outreach from this community to those direct people on the ground doing the service that they've done for the many years that they have, and we appreciate them greatly. Also, shout out to Brian, the general manager, who's been a really good partner of ours as we've transitioned out of the Republic. He made a commitment when we decided to go mellow for business purposes. He looked me in the eye and said, Kevin, I promise you, you will not see any lapse of service. And I can say definitively that he's held his promise, and the guys in the truck have done so as well. So even as of last week, I texted him at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning, Brian, the general manager, saying, hey, I need some help on this one. He contacted dispatch, and they made the changes in real time so we can make sure everyone's trash got picked up. So even to the last minute, he was answering text messages at 5 a.m. for me on Saturday. So
that's good.
We appreciate the partnership. We wish them luck. At the same time, as I said earlier, we are looking forward to our new partners in Mello. We've had a number of conversations with them. They've been part of our working group for months and months and months. We've had a lot of conversations, many conversations even today with them, the president, the owner, as well as their operations team, in preparation for this week's rollout. I will say this, it's their first week. Hopefully there are very limited, if no issues, but there could be. And if there are, we just ask you to contact them or contact us, and we'll solve the problem.
So Monday is day one when they're on the roads?
They're up.
No.
They're
Wednesday
going to
this
start
week.
delivering on pick up on Wednesday.
Well, that's why I was asking.
Trick question. Got it. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know what days people get. I know what day I get trash. I don't know the whole.
So we're going to see
timeline.
pickups on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday typically, but Friday's 4th of July,
Yeah.
so Saturday. So this week we'll see those being the days. New bins have to be used. The new carts that everyone received. Starting tomorrow, online portal should be open. I got half confirmation today that it's ready to rock and roll. I know the portal's ready. We're just waiting for final confirmation from the treasurer that he spoke with our vendor that the online site will be opening up tomorrow. That is the anticipation. It will be opening up tomorrow, the day after, at the worst case scenario, but it will be opening up this week. That is the portal to purchase the second bin service. Not the bin, but the service. Once you do that, if you need that second bin, in the mail will come a receipt with information as well as your yellow sticker.
And you're talking about trash bin.
Trash bin only. You can go down to the hardware store, Ace/Dawson's, or the co-op. Bring your sticker. They'll sell you the bin. You slap it on. You're good to go for the next year. And then you'll see an email next year reminding you that your service is coming up and to make sure you pay the fee. But anyone who's concerned about the bin size, recommend you buy your second bin. Most communities have not done more than 65 gallons in trash. That's the standard. For $180 a year, you can have 70 gallons of trash collection. And for no continuing fee, you can have up to 130 gallons of recycling. You can buy a second bin for that as well. So this plan gives you the flexibility of not only if you're, say, a single person living alone with very limited needs to do 35 and 65, or if you're a large family like Mr. Hook said, or myself, family of 6, you can push it all the way to 70 and 130, which is more than any other community in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts offers, and for a price that's less expensive than most communities in their trash fee. So,
What is the annual rate for additional garbage can? Not the cost for the bin, just the annual rate.
$180.
And how many weeks are there in a year?
There are 52 weeks in a year.
So $3.46 a week?
That is correct.
And how much did a trash sticker cost?
Trash stickers were $2
Were they likely to go up in the event that we ever had a new contract with them, which wasn't an option? But obviously, if it were an option, the cost of the trash stickers would probably go up by maybe twice as much.
Somewhere
So,
between
or
$3
maybe
and
$1.46 more.
It'd be roughly the same cost probably. But
Yeah.
more importantly, with one sticker, you could usually put a trash bag of 12 to 14 gallons of weight. So say
Not
you-
35 gallons.
So if you did 2 of those, you're somewhere between 24 and 28 gallons worth of bags for the cost of $4. For $3.50 on average per week,
46 cents.
46 cents, you can have 35 gallons, which is more for less.
Yeah, all right. So I just want to say, clearly, I'm not a numbers guy, but a second bin's annual fee is $3.46 a week. That's all. I'm
And
sorry, to have.
No, it's okay. And if just to put in comparison, if you went to any private service, it would be 4 to 5 times, if not higher, for private pickup. So that we are still subsidizing in our operating budget the cost for those extra bins, but the price point we landed on was to try to make it as similar as what existed, if not better, for people. So again, encourage people to sign up for those bins. You can then purchase those bins, those trash bins, or the carts, starting on Monday the 7th. But you need to have your sticker. Just a reminder. So sign up online, purchase your subscription, get your sticker in the mail between roughly 5 business days. Bring your sticker down to the co-op, bring your sticker down to Dawson's, and they'll sell you the bin, and you'll be off and running. I do want to also thank, and you said a couple thank yous, Mr. Hook. I will also thank not only Sam, not only Debbie, not only Sue Winslow, or Dina up in the highway garage, Gary Wilds, or the working group. I want to thank the select board, because what we've done with this trash program is innovative, it's creative, and it meets the most amount of people where they are when it comes to their trash needs. No trash plan will ever meet 100% of 100% of the need of 100% of the people. It's impossible.
Calm down.
But we found a method that gives you a baseline that meets most people, and then people who need more, multiple layers of things they can do to get to where they need to. Challenge you to find another community that's worked this hard, has been this data driven in their decision points, and has hopefully set us up with communication outward that allows people to understand what can happen and allow them to be successful. But if you're just learning today about our trash or tomorrow, I encourage you to come to my office, call the 1500 number, because we want to hear from you, and we'll give you a 101 and tutorial as long as it takes. We'll drive out to your house, we'll bring you an extra bin if we missed it, whatever it takes. We will do what it takes to deliver to the people of Topsfield a successful rollout of this plan. And so with that, thank you to the select board for your trust, your hard questions, your thoughtfulness in the product, in the process that we went through and what we're delivering. Because as I said a year ago, it doesn't matter what we do. Trash is the third rail. People are going to have concerns. They're going to have complaints. We can go bigger, and certain people in this community that can't handle bigger, they're going to have issues. We wouldn't go smaller, but we've done something that DEP, RERIG, G-Mello, and others have looked at and said this could be the gold standard for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This could be something that can be replicated in other communities if successful. And so far, everything seems to show that people are hearing what we're doing and responding. And I'm really proud of the work that collectively we've all done to get us to where we are. And I look forward in a couple weeks to updating everybody how the rest of the rollout goes. And I will mention, if you have old bins, you can drop them off the garage the third week of July, or put them on the side of the curb the first week of August, and we'll take them off the curb, or we'll take them from the drop site, which is at 10 School Ave. We also partnered with a nonprofit organization, actually 2, that are going to take those bins that are in good shape that people drop off the third week of July, and they're going to take those to their nonprofit organizations that repurpose the bins for those who might have financial needs and challenges who can use these bins. So there's a really great reuse program that we've established that we're excited to roll out as well. I could talk about trash for another hour. I won't. It's late. But again, most importantly, I just want to say thank you and just let people. Last thank you to all the people that have reached out to us with all the positives. I said this earlier. It's been overwhelming. People have dropped off food. People have gone above and beyond to really say thank you with regards to the program. We've had only a few people who might have been upset come through our office, either via email, phone, or in person. And most of those cases, we've been able to have a very good conversation in most cases. Those people they said, okay, They know why you're doing it. They might still want a bigger bin or something else, but they understand what's going on. And we'll keep on to the very end to make sure that this is a success.
I'll just caveat, Kevin no doubt has just offered the entire town to come have a conversation with him. He does not have the time to meet with every single person. So I'll offer one other very useful tool which someone on social media refers to as Google, because the information is also on the website. Nonetheless, if you can't navigate that, or if you still have questions, as Kevin said, town hall employees are
Let us
very
know.
receptive.
We're here to help. You'll get an answer right away.
And just because I'm interested in making you repeat things and say them out loud and clear, why did we not stick with our existing trash plan?
Automation was required of us, and all respondents to our proposal said they will not respond unless the town transitions to automation, which is common, if not almost mandated across every new contract in the state that's up for renewal with trash collection.
You didn't say it as black and white as I was hoping, which was because that wasn't an option. There was
You were
no
told.
scenario where we stayed with anything close to approximating our old plan.
Couldn't.
Nope. So now I'm done.
All right. Moving on to the correspondence, I'll point folks to it. There's confirmation of our MBTA 3A compliance, which I'll celebrate. I know
That's pretty
many
cool.
other towns are struggling
That's pretty
still.
cool.
Third, fourth, fifth time's a charm.
Yep.
And I don't know if Mr. Hook, I know, would always run straight to correspondence and tell you there are some changes
Yes.
to cable television service.
Cartoon Network will move from the ultimate tier digital preferred to the more sports and entertainment package for the Xfinity people out there. Also, Netflix, MGM, and the DVR price on the Xfinity will be increasing. So there you go. That's not as fun as normal. I really like the random channels nobody's ever heard of that are either coming or going. But
We get it. You're running for cable advisory.
yeah, no, I'm really hoping to get
It's gonna
reappointed
come
to
up
that thing.
All right.
gonna happen.
Any other motions? Is anyone dying to make any?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, shucks.
That's not the word.
Second.
Though. All right,
Second.
here we go. All in favor?
Is that the word?
Aye.
Is that the word you
All opposed? We are adjourned.
Or adjourned.